Stan Lee and artist Steve Ditko created Spider-Man in 1962. Publisher Martin Goodman was skeptical about a teenage hero being a lead character, but Amazing Fantasy, Number 15, became a massive hit. Stan Lee initially considered naming the character Flyman or Insect Man before deciding on Spider-Man. The first supervillain Spider-Man faced was the Chameleon in The Amazing Spider-Man #1 of 1963. Peter Parker designed his web shooters, which dispense a synthetic web fluid that hardens upon contact with air. In most iterations, Peter initially creates his suit himself, showcasing his resourcefulness and creative talent. In Secret Wars of 1984, Spider-Man inadvertently acquires a black alien symbiote suit, which later becomes Venom when it bonds with Eddie Brock. In The Amazing Spider-Man 1/21/122 of 1973, Gwen Stacy's death at the hands of the Green Goblin was a pivotal and tragic moment that defined Peter's sense of responsibility. The Clone Saga was a controversial 90s storyline that introduced Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker, who briefly took on the Spider-Man mantle as the Scarlet Spider. During Marvel's Civil War storyline of 2006, Peter publicly reveals his identity as Spider-Man, a decision he later regrets. As for relationships, Aunt May tried setting Peter up with Mary Jane for years. When they finally met, MJ's iconic first line was, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." In Across the Multiverse, Peter's love interests include not just MJ and Gwen Stacy, but characters like Silk and Black Cat. Alternate versions of Spider-Man include Spider-Man 2099, Miles Morales, and Spider-Ham. Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of the year 2099, is a geneticist who accidentally rewrites his DNA with spider traits. In the Ultimate Universe, Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man after Peter Parker's death, bringing a new perspective to the legacy. Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham, is a humorous, alternate version who is a pig bitten by a radioactive spider. In the comics, Spider-Man briefly had a dune buggy called the Spider Mobile, which he didn't even know how to drive. Peter Parker can lift over 10 tons, but his strength has fluctuated across different storylines and iterations. His spider sense warns him of danger, even allowing him to detect invisible threats and occasionally see into the future in certain iterations. Spider-Man's first live-action portrayal was in the Amazing Spider-Man TV series from 1977 to 1979. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man of 2002, Peter Parker's web shooting ability was portrayed as organic, a departure from the comics. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse of 2018 was the first Spider-Man film to win an Academy Award. It won for Best Animated Feature. Spider-Man's catchphrase, "With great power comes great responsibility," is one of the most iconic lines in comics. Originally narrated in Amazing Fantasy Chapter 15, rather than spoken by Uncle Ben,